Hi, folks. Zach Gimignani with Juice Analytics. I wanted to share with you the process of building an application using Juicebox, and I thought I would do that with some data that I came across the other day that I thought might make an interesting application. This is a site called Beer Advocate. We were having a conversation about beers internally, and I thought I searched it, and I found this site that has a whole bunch of ratings for all sorts of beers, and they had one page where they had the top 250 rated beers, and I thought it might be interesting to grab this data and build a interactive application to share with folks. So what I wanted to take you through was the process of doing that and show you how easy it is to do um, within Juicebox. So all I did was I grabbed this data from this site and really just copied the HTML. I ended up pasting that into a Google Sheet. Now, of course, it doesn't come out in the format that you would want, so there was a little bit of cleaning that I needed to do on that. In particular, you'll see we have these cells right here that have a whole bunch of information stacked up into individual cell. I had to break those out into columns. I used a function called split, which is really useful in order to break that out. So I created separate columns. I cleaned up the headers a little bit, so I had titles on these fields that I wanted to work with, and that's what I'm going to use in order to build an application. So what I wanted to take you through was what that looks like in Juicebox. So I'm going to log in. And I've set a little challenge for myself here to see if I can put this together. I have a timer. I'm going to see if I can put this together in 3 minutes. See if I can pull that off. So let's get started. All right, we're going to call this app Top Beers. That's my timer. I'm going to skip the description and we go in. We pick a color that we want. That's our theme color. There's an option to pick a font from a variety of different font families. We're going to pick a bold one because we're talking about beers here. And then we're going to create that application. So Juicebox is creating a separate new website effectively that we can build out into this application and share with other folks. So we got to find that application, and I'm going to open that up as an editor within Juicebox. So I come in here. There's a bunch of settings. The first thing I need to do is load up my data. So I'm going to load up that data table that I showed you. And this is going to pull the data in and look at the different fields that we have. And you have an option within here then to turn those fields into something we call data ingredients. So data ingredients are the building blocks that we use as we're going to build the application itself. So we're going to add those. We're going to add all those ingredients. And that gives us the starting point to start to actually build out this application. So you see all those ingredients here. We can mess around with those. No time for that. So let's jump into the actual building of the application itself. When we first start, we have this kind of frame that we have to work with here. I'm going to remove some stuff I don't need. And the first thing I wanted to do in here was I wanted to create a choice for you as a user to decide whether you want to be looking at beers, breweries, or styles of beer. So those are the different options. We'll say, what do you want to look at? Don't have a lot of time to be typing in here. So that's going to give you a choice of 3 things that you can look at. Now, I'm going to add another slice in here. This is where it starts to get fun. We're going to put a scatter plot in here. So the scatter plot is going to represent which of those choices you've chosen in that first one. And we're going to break it out on the popularity in terms of the number of ratings, and then the average rating score, so how much people like things. We're going to use number of beers to size things, and we're going to create that. I've got 30 seconds, so I got to hustle here. So that's going to add a scatter plot, and then The final thing that I thought would be interesting here is something that we call a leaderboard. A leaderboard ranks things. So in this case, it's going to rank whatever we had put up there, and we're going to choose a bunch of these measures to rank things by, and we're going to add that in there. Oh, so I'm out of time, but I'd like to think I just barely snuck that in. So what we did here, and I would certainly spend more time putting text around this and describing things. Let's see how that ranks. Put that in there. So we put a title on these. You really want to title and walk someone through what you're looking at. But what we've created here is a really quick application that lets you decide, I want to look at breweries instead of individual beers, and I can see how those breweries compare by average rating and the popularity. So how many people rated them. Now in Juicebox, everything is selectable and explorable. So if I select a bunch of breweries, my top breweries over here or the most popular ones, whatever I select, that's going to filter down the page, and you're going to be able to see how those things rank in my leaderboard. So good fun getting some interesting data and putting together a quick application to show off what you can do in Juicebox.